with the announcement of Terminal World here, we're going to be talking about all those fun little dual terminal archetypes you're going to want to keep an eye on. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. We're going to start off over here with Infernoid because, I mean, this was the first one that was mentioned for the alt art, all the excitement. Void Imagination Station is still a crazy card conceptually. The fact that also, I mean, Infernoid Tiara is a crazy... Actually, everything that Infernoid's kind of set up and do can be a massive annoyance, and you know, I wish we still had Grasslick Screener in the format so we could actually truly enjoy what Infernoid actually has the chance to bring to the table here. But in terms of their involvement in the dual terminal world, I'm actually surprised that they're going after Infernoid for the power-up, because there are a lot of other things. But if you're going to truly just give one alt art and one fresh new card to the archetypes, I mean, understandably, it's got to be something that's going to entice players to want to, you know, pick this up and see something. So I think that that's actually something kind of interesting at the end of the day here, is that one power-up for Infernoid. Next up is Iceberry. This was the other one that was actually announced here. Let's call it what it is at this point in time. I still don't think conceptually Iceberry has any idea what they want to do. They gave this deck a frickin' structure deck, and the structure deck is just like, yeah, it's still all over the place. I mean, like, the Ice Barrier monsters, the Synchros, were always like the go-to, but the actual minions themselves didn't seem like they'd be too much. So at this point in time, to look after Ice Barrier cards, I think the Synchros are going to be the biggest things out here. But can we even say that Ice Barriers, I really don't think they're going to give the mainline support. I think it would be, you know, an alternate Artrishula and something else in terms of the Synchro department, maybe as a stepping stone for the other Synchros. But I don't know, man. That one's the craziest one of the two revealed so far to keep an eye on. Now, everything else beyond that point is going to be consideration. Ally of Justice. I put this on here kind of as a meme, but it has kind of been spun around, and more people have genuinely looked at this and went, well, you know, like, there is potential here at the end. And I don't disagree all that much. The problem is Ally of Justice cards were just generic. That was it. That was the most exciting things that they had going for them. And every main deck monster in the department was awful. Ally of Justice getting only one card for support would be an absolute meme, and it would serve no purpose. You really have to redo that entire archetype to get it to be good at the end of the day. So to say keep an eye on them, they could do it, but it's not going to immediately affect anything out here in terms of immediate value. So that one, a little bit more of a misrue, but okay. We also have Shouldall here. Now, Shouldall is an interesting one because it does take place in the lore. I mean, we've seen Construct getting gobbled up by the Infernoid wall. We've already got alt arts of Winda and Construct. But you kind of got to ask yourself at this point in time, would they just pick Shouldall here and just choose to give them more support? I don't know. I don't know what they would do with New Wave of Shouldall. I mean, obviously there's missing stuff that they can do in terms of the attribute well to strengthen them, but it does seem like that, I think that would be a big seller. But you would announce that, right? You would say straight up, hey, new Shouldall support here. So the fact that it wasn't on the announcement does also kind of detour me a little bit from Rob. You said this was top pickups to watch video. Yes. I want to, you know, get the ones that seem like, you know, they could be here, but might not really be. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's not mentioned, like Flamville, but, you know, we'll get to that. And then, of course, there's Clifford. Now, Clifford, at the end of the day, is missing a lot of stuff. I mean, they did get Clifford Genius. The Link Monster is really cool. I think the card did add a lot of flavor into, you know, what they wanted to do. But at the end of the day, I don't really feel like Clifford had an identity for itself. It was just a lot of big pendulum monsters that you could eat at your opponent. And then the Towers monster that was just like, what is your purpose? Like, what are you doing here, big Towers guy? Like, I see you on the field. But at the end of the day, it was just that. So Clifford might actually be one of the bigger ones. But once again, I feel like they would have announced this because this is one of the bigger archetypes in this set, right? Especially when you're looking at Shouldall. When you have two big household names here, I mean, you chose to announce Infernoid and then Ice Barrier. So that tells me maybe Clifford might be the miss. We'll have to wait and see on that one, though, for sure. Next up is Zing. First of all, I love Zing cards, but they are a misses timing nightmare. All right, the fact that, I mean, you can give them another synchro. There are a lot of things that you can do with Zing as a whole. They are such a cool archetype in terms of things, but to give them, maybe things that could errata the effects to not miss timing, that could say, I don't know how Konami would reword that. You could very easily make a synchro that just turns all of your effects into, I don't know how you would word that. You can't really print on a card that says this card doesn't miss timing. It would just allow the effect to basically be able to resolve in any situation. I think that'd be a good thing to be able to hand to Zing. So I definitely think that Zing is a bigger candidate for this, just as an adjustment for what the archetype itself actually kind of needs. And that'd be good. Next up is Zephyr. Now Zephyr was a huge part of the lore. Holy moly. The value that you got out of this deck. Zephyr being one of the coolest design cards in the game. The ability to scale up. I would love an alternate art Zephyr. All right, throwing that out there. But Zephyr has become so cheap throughout the years here that the deck itself, I think that this could be one of the candidates in here. There's so many cards that you could pick to give an alt art to, and Zephyr does kind of feel like it does need that power up at the end of the day. I don't think anybody's going to complain about Zephyr getting a new card except for the people who are like, I hate pendulum decks. This is so ridiculous. How could Konami continue to support such a hated archetype? Yeah, that's your community for you in a nutshell. That's for sure. Next up is Necros, and the fabled Necros trap card. Woo! That's it, guys. That's it. I figured it out right here. This is what we're doing. We are finally going to print the trap card of trap cards. The thing that Necros has said that they could search that doesn't actually exist. I mean, trap cards are good, right? Like, they're acceptable in the game, right? They're the most powerful things in the game. I don't know what you'd give to Necros or what card you would choose to give the alt art to, but let's be honest here. The fact that Necros has been one of the strongest decks in history, and I mean, you've got some very good, strong ritual candidates there. Maybe one card could put this deck back on the top of its game. Maybe there is something exciting to really be had there at the end of the day, but TCG players they're salivating at the mouth. They're like, Necros trap card. The meme is possibly getting the chance to actually come into reality here, and I think that's actually crazy. Next up is X-Sabers. Woo! You guys remember X-Sabers, right? They lost to Inzectors on the poll of new cards, and they haven't been seen since. Yeah, I remember XXXXX 69 Gotham's rip your opponent's hand apart. Yeah, I would love to see some new X-Saber support. I don't know if one card's really going to do them justice, but an alternate art Gotham's would be pretty fire. Not going to lie about that, actually. Hunley would be cool, but one card's not going to put this deck back on the map. All right, but I do want to say, at the end of the day, the people are looking at this, because this does seem like one of the most acceptable candidates out here for the power-ups. If they actually dodge X-Saber on this, Konami, you are crazy. All right, I don't know what you're doing or what you're expecting, but this should be on the top of the list, honestly. X-Saber, please, just print new X-Saber cards. That'd be nice. And then there's Elseworm. Now, this is here because I love this deck. Elseworm is the heart and soul of, the virus that kind of tore through the realm. And I think that is something that you really do need to consider. And I'm putting this on the top of the list here because Elseworm just has dodged all of the support that you could possibly want to see out here. And an alternate art Ophion would be amazing. All right, like, that would be so cool. I know Constellar, Flamvell, there's so many other things that exist within this archetype, but the biggest things are these are the ones that I would keep an eye on the most, just to kind of see where things are going to go. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you're saying. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.